Hello there, this is KHTS News Director Jade Abashan, and I'm here today with Santa Clarita Congressman Mike Garcia. How are you doing today, Mike?
Hey, Jade, I'm doing great. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. We're always happy to start hearing about what's going on in Washington, and we know you've co-sponsored a couple of bills lately. The most recent one you just released information on yesterday, and that was the Military Spouse Licensing Relief Act of 2021. What is that?
Yeah, this is actually something that's long overdue. It's kind of crazy to think about the fact that we haven't done something about it, but we have a problem in the military with our service members in large bases like Edwards Air Force Base just to the north of us, Los Angeles Air Force Base, Point Mugu to the west, where spouses who come to California who are professionals in any industry such as nurses or real estate agents. They actually have to apply for credentials all over again and get recertified basically in their industry. And in some cases, especially in California, that can be anywhere from 2 to 3 years just to get recertified in their respective professions. And so what's happened is a lot of folks get orders, military personnel get orders to California and to other states. And their spouses are effectively unable to work in their professions because of the hindrances there and the bureaucracy involved with getting recertified. So what this Military Spouse Licensing Relief Act does is it actually basically allows you to cross-deck your credentials from your home state or from whatever state you were qualified in, and have what's called reciprocity granted in the new state that which you have orders to. And this is good for the service member's family. This is good for their spouse, but it's kind of also very good for our local communities. And when you look at our local area, we're short on teachers, we're short on frontline workers in the hospitals, nurses, doctors, and these are the types of professions that many of our military spouses who are locally based in our communities actually can fill those gaps. And so this is something that I'm proud to bring to the floor, and hopefully we get this moving here shortly. I've partnered with Senator Mike Lee, who has been a champion of this in the past as well. This really is making good on a promise that I ran on, which is to make sure that we're taking care of not just our military members, but also their families and frankly our communities by getting these professionals fully engaged and recertified locally and helping us get good qualified teachers, nurses, real estate agents in our local area. So it's a good thing. It should get bipartisan support. It's obviously one of those issues that both Republicans and Democrats should be able to agree on. So I'm really proud of this one and looking forward to this moving forward.
Well, thank you for that explanation, Mike. If you're just joining us, we are here with Congressman Mike Garcia, who's going over a couple of the bills he recently co-sponsored. Another bill you recently sponsored, Mike, was the Death Tax Repeal Act. What is that? What is the death tax, and what would repealing it do?
Yeah, this basically allows us to effectively remove the death tax, and this is being threatened right now. If you have a family member pass away and their estate is left to you, there's a very real possibility, especially in this administration, that inheritance will be taxed. So it's kind of gotten to the point where you get taxed when you make money, you get taxed when you sell assets, and you get taxed now when you die, and your benefactors actually get taxed as well when they receive the inheritance. So this Death Tax Repeal Act is effectively the removal of that. It allows us to keep our money when we inherit it. It's a full repeal of the death tax, and this is really something that a lot of folks are struggling with, because if you've lost a loved one recently, you don't know necessarily right now whether you're going to be subjected to that inheritance tax. And from a planning perspective, that tax can be very significant. So that could impact the survivors pretty substantially. So the goal of this one is just to remove the death tax entirely. Allow survivors to just keep their inheritance. That money's already been taxed several times, and it's been moved through the next generation. And as Americans, especially those who have lost loved ones, we deserve to keep that money without being taxed again on it. So that's that one. Very straightforward. Again, this is something that should be getting bipartisan support. We'll see if folks from the left can actually get behind it, but it is the right thing for America, especially on the heels of one of the worst pandemics our world has seen. And there's a lot of folks who have suffered not only financial loss, but loss of close family members as well.
All right, thank you. So, when you haven't been busy dealing with the legislative side of things in terms of sponsoring all these bills, you've been here in Santa Clarita when you're not in Washington. And I heard you visited Six Flags Magic Mountain recently to take a look at their safe reopening plan. What did you think of that?
Yeah. Actually, very impressive. It's been heartbreaking, as you know, over the last 13, 14 months to see so many businesses go out of business, from big employers like Princess Cruises locally to also Magic Mountain to the small mom and pop shops and the restaurants. It's just heartbreaking to see it all happen, and especially for so long when our governor had enough data to actually allow us to open back up. And Magic Mountain has finally been cleared to open up at some levels. They started off with their 15% capacity, 25, and they're slowly working their way up. And so I went out there for a few reasons. One, to just spend some time with them and understand what their reopening plan was. So they actually started some new programs, new technology as you enter the park. That's meant to be streamlined for COVID perspectives, but it's also going to be technology they keep to allow folks to get in the park quicker. And so some of this technology is something they're going to keep. They've got new rides there, right? They've got the West Coast Racer ride there, which is fantastic. And so more than anything, I was there to be there to give them encouragement, to answer any questions, and obviously provide any assistance from the federal government we can to help them get back on their feet, and put a bright, shiny light on the fact that we have our Magic Mountain, the crown jewel of amusement in our district and in Santa Clarita, back open, and to get folks out there to visit. They are hiring. They definitely need folks to help them as they reopen, bring back ride operators, food services, and so they need all the help we can get as a local community. But it's one of several businesses I've been visiting. I'm trying to, like I said, not only reach out to the larger employers like Magic Mountain, but the smaller mom and pop shops. I visited the owner of Wolf Creek, sat down with her to understand their needs a little bit better, understand the consequences of what's gone on. And as these shops open up, they're all experiencing different struggles and barriers. And so as a federal representative, I just want to make sure that I'm hearing what they're asking for, and we're targeting exactly the aid that is necessary to facilitate them not just opening but thriving again. And great news. We were just celebrating the reopening of the old ice station, which is now the Cube, and so we have all these shoots of life coming to fruition here. We have lots of reasons to be hopeful. Put 2020 and the first few months of this year behind us. Start focusing on getting back on our feet, getting kids back in school, businesses back online, and again, creating a thriving national and local government, especially in Santa Clarita, all over again, because that's what we deserve. And it's, in the end, Santa Clarita is one of the best cities in the nation because of our resolve and the willingness to do things the right way. And in this case, it's rebuilding our economy. So I love being in the district. I spend about a third of my time in Santa Clarita, a third of my time in Simi Valley, and a third in the Antelope Valley, as well as Acton, Agua Dulce, and Porter Ranch. And I'm just encouraged by what I'm seeing locally and the spirit that people have maintained throughout one of the nation's toughest times. So it's always a joy to be back home and representing here in D.C. as well.
Well, thank you, Mike. Once again, we are here with Santa Clarita Congressman Mike Garcia. So on top of everything else that you've been doing, you're also holding a student art competition this month. Can you tell me a little bit more detail about that? I believe you're accepting submissions from students throughout CA 25?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that's actually very fun, something that Congress does every year. We have constituents submit art, and we have judges who basically pick winners, and the winners are able to display their artwork in the halls of the Capitol. And so every time we go to vote, every time we have guests or visitors, they walk down the halls, they see these pieces of art. It's very impressive, the talent that's out there. And we are taking those pieces of art right now as part of our competition. And if folks want to get details on it, you can go to mikegarcia.house.gov/submit artwork. And we have until the 23rd to take those competitive pieces, and we have some professionals and non-professionals who are going to look at it and make a determination on which pieces get hung in the Capitol. So really encourage everyone out there to take a look at it, and the more the merrier. This is a fun thing, and we're looking forward to seeing the applicants here soon.
Perfect, thank you. And if anybody missed that link, you can also find it on our website. The deadline for submission is not this Friday, but next Friday, April 23rd. So, thank you so much, Mike, for giving us your time. We're coming to the end of our time here. So, what should our Valley be expecting to see from your office in the next couple of weeks?
Thanks, Jake. Well, as always, we continue to focus on the constituents. We continue to work on constituent casework, help with the IRS, help with the VA, Social Security benefits. You can visit our website for assistance on any of those things or come into any of our offices in Santa Clarita, the Antelope Valley, or the Simi Valley. That is priority number one. We're going to continue to help with getting COVID relief out to small businesses and individuals. There's still a lot of money left to be had there, and we want to make sure that our folks are getting access to that. And in D.C., as always, I'm committed to the Constitution and capitalism and making sure that we fight the higher taxes, that we work for a strong national defense. And there's a lot of very important conversations and pieces of legislation coming from that we need to absolutely fight for, in some cases against. So looking forward to all those discussions. And as always, we'll stay in comms and update you real time.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning, Mike. For everybody out there listening,
Thanks,
you'll be
Dave.
able to read more about Congressman Garcia and what he's been up to in Washington and here in the Santa Clarita Valley and beyond over on our website at hometownstation.com or on social media at KHTS Radio.